Everybody may be seated. Let's go on the record, the BRCs, state their names on the record.
Taylor May on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Tyler Brands on behalf of the Office of Public Defender.
Let's do our 33 motions this morning. The first case I have is Roberts, 2021 CF 5176.
It was filed this morning.
I'm be denied. Next case I have is Diaz Rosas, 2021 CF 5137 AL.
Notice of non-filing.
Granted. Next case I have is McMonagle.
McMonagle.
Monagle, okay. McMonagle, I think that's what you said? McMonagle, 2021 CF 5056 AL.
It was filed on the 3rd.
I'm denied. I have Davis, 2021 CF 5193 AL.
Notice of non-filing.
All right. Be granted. I have Wood, 2021 CF 1236 AL.
An INN was a notice of non-filing was previously filed back in March.
Okay.
An ROR motion was granted the following day, but then he picked up a new theft charge, and the judge revoked ROR on this case. So there's
Be denied.
should be denied. Yes, Your Honor.
This case law is clear on that one. Romero Cruz, 2021 CF 4891 AL.
No information notice.
Granted. Of Wilson Jr., 2021 CF 5054 AL.
Notice of non-filing.
All right, granted. I have Johnson, 2021 CF 5185 AL.
Notice of non-filing.
Granted. I have another Johnson, 2021 CF 5277 AL.
Filed yesterday.
Denied. I have Harris, 2021 CF 5194 AL.
No information notice.
Granted. I have Williams Jr., 2021 CF 5363 AL.
Notice of non-filing.
Granted. And also on Roberts' case right there. All right. Okay, the first move up I have is Henderson. We have any move ups? Okay. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name? Ms. Henderson, you're here in case 2021 CF 6692AO on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, battery, domestic violence. The judge signed your warrant. In this case, has already found probable cause for your arrest.
Excuse me. What did you say again? I didn't understand you.
You can understand me, or
Like, what did you say again? I didn't understand.
can you not hear or not understand?
Not understand. What did you say?
That you're arrested for the charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence in case 2021 CF 6692AO. I'm going to set your bond in count one in amount of $5,000, count two $1,000. Condition of your bond is that you have no contact with the victim in this case. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. If you have a shared residence, I'll give you one time with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items that you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case, ma'am.
Your Honor, she's been on Social Security disability and very little criminal history. I believe the bond amount might be unattainable for Ms. Henderson.
Well, I see a last battery conviction less than 6 months ago.
I understand, Your Honor, but
So-
the unattainable bond should,
Just something that you can address with the division judge, and that I have no information other than what she receives in
with the
Social Security disability or anything else.
Was it the same victim?
No.
Well,
You don't have to talk about it.
so, because it's another person, so.
So it was unrelated to the current charges, other than the similar charge?
All right, have a great day, ma'am. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Michael Eugene Marcus Cole.
Mr. Cole, you're here in case 2021 MM224AA on a charge of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to set your bond in this case in amount of $1,000. Condition of your bond that you have no contact with the victim in this case. That you maintain a separate residence from this victim. If you have a shared residence with this victim, I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You understand? I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, Your Honor.
All right, have a great day, sir. The interpreter?
Good morning, Your Honor. This is
Morning.
Carlos Morales, State Certified Spanish Court Interpreter. The interpreter has been sworn in already today.
Good morning, Mr. Morales. I'm here at the BRC, and I need your assistance with a few cases this morning. Well, more than a few, about 5. I have a defendant with the headsets on, see if we can make a connection.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Let me try this again.
Ahora sí.
We're connected, Your Honor.
All right, can you have the defendant tell me his name, please?
Francisco Acevedo.
Francisco Acevedo.
Mr. Acevedo, you are here this morning in case 2021 CF 6198AO on charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, battery, domestic violence by strangulation, and battery domestic violence. The judge signed your warrant in this case, has already found probable cause for your arrest as to those charges. I'm going to set your bond in count one in the amount of $15,000, count two, $5,000, count three, $1,000. Condition of your bond that you had no contact with the victim in this case, that you maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return if you have a shared residence with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at this location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You also may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case, sir. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, ya tenía una orden de retención antes.
No, there was already an injunction in place before.
All right. Have a great day, sir.
Gracias.
Yes. All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Romilio Bautista. ¿Cómo me llamo? Romilio Bautista.
Romilio Bautista.
Ya.
Mr. Bautista, you are here this morning in case 2021 MM 352AW on charge of battery domestic violence. I did review the charges in the affidavit in this case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in this case in an amount of $2,500. Condition of your bond is you had no contact with the victim in this case, that you maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. Do you have any questions about the no contact order, Mr. Bautista?
No.
No.
You're on probation in case 2018 CF 12651. In that case, based on the probable cause determination that I found in this case, I'm going to find an on-view violation of your probation. I'm going to set your bond at $0 in that case. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in all your cases. You have a great day, sir. You have the case number? You got it. Have a great day, sir. Okay. Yes. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Buenos días, Jesús del Valle Morales Díaz.
Jesús del Valle Morales Díaz.
Sir, you are here this morning in case 2021 CT 4125AW on a charge of attaching a tag to a license plate to a vehicle not assigned, as well as 2021 CT 4126AW for use of a foreign driver's license while your Florida driver's license is suspended. I did review the charging affidavits in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Say was an offer that you extended to Mr. Morales Diaz.
Yes, Your Honor, the offer that was conveyed was a withhold credit time served.
Mr. Morales Diaz, did you want to accept the six?
Mr. Interpreter, excuse me, Your Honor, if the interpreter could inform Mr. Morales Diaz that if he doesn't have citizenship, that entering a plea can be used to deport him.
Yeah, I want to discuss that with him. Mr. Morales Diaz, do you want to accept the state's offer of a withhold adjudication of guilt and court costs to resolve these two cases? Entering of any criminal plea can result in your deportation from this country if you're not a United States citizen. With that knowledge, do you want to accept the state's offer?
May I also say, Your Honor, that as a friend of the court, I would not advise Mr. Morales Diaz to take that offer if he is not a citizen. He otherwise does qualify for PTR on this charge.
He doesn't.
Your Honor, there's an updated sheet from pretrial.
He has an updated sheet. Let's see. There we go.
Necesito responder un momento.
So do I have to respond now or?
Well, you can accept the state's offer now, or we can talk about release conditions. Your choice is yours.
Claro, me gustaría saber antes cómo pudiese resolver el caso para saber.
Well, I would like to know then beforehand how I could go about resolving the case.
Well, there's 3 ways that any criminal case is resolved. Either the case is taken to trial or dismissed by the state of Florida, you're found not guilty. You enter a plea with a resolution between you and the state of Florida, or a resolution between you and the court. Or you take your case to trial and you're found guilty, and then the sentencing at that point is up to the court. So right now, you can take option 2, if you'd like, to resolve the case with a negotiated resolution between yourself and the state of Florida. You don't have to do that right now because you always have option 3 and 1.
Mr. Morales Diaz can also work with our office to resolve this downtown, because again, if he's not a citizen and takes a plea today.
Once again, that's like I already told him that.
I know, but I'm not convinced that he understands the entire proceedings.
He seems to be a quite intelligent person, so I'm not going to insult his intelligence.
I'm not arguing that competence, I think everything.
I'm not
The
saying that.
translation is a little overwhelming.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. The interpreter cannot interpret for 2 people at the same time.
All right.
Having trouble hearing everyone.
So, Mr. Morales Diaz, you have options 1, 2, and 3 at your disposal at any time. Now, today, you can take option 2, have the case resolved, not come back to court. That's a choice you can make. You can choose option 1 or 3. You can do more investigation. You can determine whether, those options are more appropriate for your situation. I can't make that decision for you, nor can any attorney or anybody else. So, did you want to take the state's offer, or did you want to talk about release conditions for your case?
Me gustaría resolver el caso lo antes posible. No sé, por acá me comunicó el oficial que tenía como una especie de fianza de $750. La oficial me comentó algo abajo también. Y yo le dije que bueno, que no era algo que yo quería hacer bajo. Aunque no es que algo que yo hice adrede, ¿no? Intencional, no fue algo intencional. Que no es algo que yo voy a reincidir. Y me colocó ella una fianza de 750 aquí. Me gustaría saber sobre esto, no sé.
Well, I would like to resolve the case as soon as possible. When the officer pulled me over, or the officer that pulled me over, he gave me some sort of bond, told me that I had a bond, $750 bond. And then I informed the officer that, well, what I had done wasn't with any, it wasn't on purpose. I didn't intend to do that, and this is not something that I'm going to do again. So I'd like to know a little bit more about this.
Okay. All right, sir, I'm going to release you on pretrial release in this case. The conditions of your pretrial release, you're not allowed to operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You have a great day, sir. Yes, sir.
Gracias.
Thank you.
I apologize for that, Mr. Morales.
No worries, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, we'll deal with him in a minute. Okay. All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Batista. Demencio Batista. Sí.
Demencio Batista.
Mr. Bautista, you are here this morning for arraignment in case 2021 MM 3777 AO on charges of count 1, battery, and count 2, petty theft of $100 or more. Both of those charges are first-degree misdemeanors. Both of those charges are punishable up to 1 year in the county jail each and a $1,000 fine each. You are represented by the public defender's office in this case. Do you have a plea you want to enter on behalf of your client?
We'll enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Sir, I'm going to accept your plea of not guilty. I'm going to set you for pretrial conference in Division 85 on these following dates.
Division 85 pretrial conference, June 28th at 9 a.m. in 4A.
I have a question for the judge, though.
Well, I want you to, if there's a question about the facts of your case, I cannot answer those questions for you. If your question is about the procedure that you need to follow, I need you to talk to your attorney, which is represented by the public defender's office. There's a phone number on this green sheet of paper where you can reach your attorney that's assigned to you in this case and get your case either set for a plea or set for a trial as soon as possible.
Quiero preguntarle al abogado porque el abogado que me está atendiendo me dijo que yo hacía un plea hoy y me iba a tiempo cumplido.
Well, I want to ask the attorney because the attorney that was helping me or representing me told me that I would get out today with time served.
State, was that a negotiated resolution that was communicated to you?
No, Your Honor, and I have nothing in the notes as to that effect. And given that I have no victim contact, I have no notes about victim contact, there's never been an offer conveyed.
Was this like the original charge robbery or something?
No, Your Honor, it came in as a battery on a licensed security officer and petty theft. We couldn't prove that he was licensed or that the defendant knew.
Gotcha.
I do,
You know, some of these sometimes
Your
come
Honor,
in.
I do have notes from our attorney that the client was speaking about a plea offer, but this was,
All right.
I don't think it was transmitted to the state. If he can talk to his attorney and maybe do a plea offer downtown,
Right.
he would have to contact him right away.
All right, Mr. Batista, I can't resolve your case right now because I'm not sure if the victim was notified before of the resolution. So you may need to talk to your attorney that you're speaking to already. We can get you downtown probably sometime this week or in the following weeks if you want to resolve your case. And that's something that the state of Florida is agreeable to. Okay? You have a great day, sir.
Do you want to go back to Mr. Velasquez
I'm not,
Munoz?
who is this? Does he need an interpreter? Okay. Mr. Morales, thank you for your help this morning.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Let's talk about Mr. Velasquez Munoz. I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent him in this case. That's case 2021 CT 4128AW.
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna set his bond in the amount of $500. Condition of his bond in this case, finding probable cause for the arrest, the charges of no valid driver's license. Condition of his bond that he's not allowed to operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. I'm not talking about. All right. All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Acevedo.
Mr. Acevedo, you are here this morning on in 2021 CF 6736AO on charge of aggravated assault with a firearm, domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. Did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in this case in the amount of $3,500. Condition of your bond be subject to pretrial release supervision. You to have no contact with the victim in this case. You to have no contact with the witness in this case, Elizabeth Acevedo. You are to not maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return if you have a shared residence with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. You also are not allowed to possess any weapons or firearms while you're out on release in this case. All weapons and firearms that you have in your possession need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case, sir. You have a great day. Hello. There we go. Hello. Good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Gonzalo Altius.
Sir, you are here this morning in case 2021 CF 6737AO on charges of aggravated assault, domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. All right. Ma'am, can you tell me your name?
Elizabeth Altius?
Your Honor, I believe the charged victim is Mr.
Yeah, Jaden.
Jaden, yes.
Yep. All right, ma'am, can you raise your right hand, be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And you put your hand down. All right. Can you spell your last name for the record?
Alteus?
All right. And what do you want to tell me this morning about Mr. Alti's release conditions?
I don't want him to be here in jail, but I just want him not to be allowed to come into the house.
Okay. All right. See? Not necessarily, from what I can tell, reading the affidavit, she may have become a victim when she got in the way, but I think the intended victim, where the aggravated assault was intended, was the Jaden.
Yes, Your Honor, I believe the way the officer charged it, the intended was Jaden. There could be allegedly two charges.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yes.
All right. All right, sir, I'm going to set your bond in this case in the amount of $2,500. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. That you have no contact with the victim in this case. You have no contact with any witnesses in this case. That you maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return to the residence to retrieve any personal items you have at the residence. Does Jaden lives at the residence, correct?
Yes, that's our son.
Say again?
Yes, he does. That's our son.
You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. We're going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. Say, did I miss any release conditions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Have a great day. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Can you tell me your name, sir?
Jose Concepcion.
Mr. Concepcion, you are here in case 2021 CF 6747AO on charges of false imprisonment, domestic violence, tampering with a witness, and battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to set your bond in count 1, amount of $10,000, count 2, $1,000, count 3, $5,000. Condition of your bond that you have no contact with the victim in this case. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return if you have a shared residence with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. Do you have any questions about the no contact order, sir?
No, Your Honor.
You're on probation in Osceola County case 2019 CF 1881. And based on the probable cause determination that I found in this case, the court's going to find an on-view violation of your probation. I'm going to set your bond at $0 in that case. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases. You have a great day, sir. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? I can't hear you.
Leon, do not.
Do not?
Do not.
Duna. Okay, Mr. Duna, you are here in case 2021 CF 6748AO, on charges of possession of cocaine and violation of a domestic violence injunction. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. It did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to state your bond in count 1 amount of $1,000. Count 2, I'm going to set your bond amount of $10,000. Condition of your bond is you had no contact with the victim in this case. That you abide by the injunction in 2021 DR 5670AO. And you do not return to the scene of the location where this incident happened. You are not to possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. You're out on...
Your Honor, state would also ask for no weapons due to the injunction.
Well, the judge usually covers no weapons or firearms, but also will order no weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You are out on bond in case 2021 CF 5568AO. In that case, the court's going to revoke that bond. We'll set a new bond at $0 in that case. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you in all your cases if you're not already appointed. If you feel like you can, that the judge should let you out, you need to file a bond motion downtown with that division judge and speak with them. You have a great day, sir. Ms. Davis, where is Lucas Grove? Our next, Mr. Eaglin, where's Lucas Grove? The next, where's he from? Where's that? Oh, Virginia. Never mind. I found it. Never mind. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Devin Eaglin.
Mr. Engel, you're here in case 2021 CF 6733AO on 2 counts of battery domestic violence by strangulation and 2 counts of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. I did find probable cause for your arrest as to those charges. Ma'am, can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Brianna Worley, Worley.
Ms. Worley, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor. I was actually wondering if I could drop the charges.
Well, let's answer my question first. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Put your hand down, ma'am. Can you spell your last name for the record?
Worley.
All right. Can you tell me how you know Mr. Engel?
We were engaged.
You were engaged or you are engaged?
We are.
All right. And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
Yes, that's fine, Your Honor. I wanted to drop the charges.
Well, it's not your choice whether to drop the charges or not. So I'm trying to get to my job done, which is set release conditions for Mr. Engel. So, do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you afraid of him?
No, Your Honor.
Has anything like domestic violence between you two happened in the past?
No, sir.
Would you have been the subject of this prior conviction for there's like written threats to kill or a profane use of a text message?
Can you, like, what do you, no, I don't.
I'm trying to ascertain this charge from Virginia. It looks like.
Oh, no, sir, that's not me.
Okay. And did drugs and alcohol play a role in this incident?
No, Your Honor.
If something like this were to happen again, do you feel like you can call law enforcement for help?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Say you have any questions for the witness
No, Your Honor.
and the defense.
Your Honor, state would ask that you still put a no contact order given the allegations in the affidavit. Also the unreported incidences that were alleged.
Correct. All right. Summers to Engel in. I'm trying to, because they kind of double dipped here. Because technically you can look at it as two separate instances if.
Yes, Your Honor, I believe one was at like 1530 hours and
Yeah.
the next one was about 1800 hours.
Correct. All right, sir, I want to set your bond in count one, amount of $2,000, count two, $2,000, count three, $500, and count four, $500. Condition is your bond that you have to have no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items that you have at that location. You may not return to the scene of the location where this incident happened. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Now, Mr. Engel, you're going back to Virginia at some point, correct? Yeah. All right, so my orders still operate in Virginia. If you get arrested for violating my orders in Virginia, they're going to put you on a little bus and send you back to Florida to see me. Do you understand that? All right. Now, ma'am, don't encourage him to violate my orders. All right? So stay away.
Okay.
Until this case is over, all right?
Okay.
Have a great day. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Mr. Flippins.
Mr. Flippins, you're here in case 2021 CF 6718AO on charges of aggravated battery, alternatively, domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case, and I did find probable cause for your arrest as to those charges. I'm going to set your bond in this case in the amount of $25,000. Condition of your bond that you had no contact with the victim in this case. You need to maintain a, yes, sir. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. You are out on bond in case 2021 CF 2413AO. In that case, I'm going to revoke that bond. We're going to set a new bond at $0. We're going to appoint the public defender to represent you in all your cases if you're not already appointed.
Could you give the reasoning as to such a high bond?
The allegations in this case are extremely dangerous. If I remember, oh yeah.
He's also unemployed, so it would be unattainable. It'd be like no bond at all.
Well, he can talk to his division judge and folks can get some victim input. But based on what I read in this charging affidavit, his criminal history and his out. He just got out from seeing us a little while ago.
I believe there was also an independent witness, Your Honor, that corroborated the victim's story.
Correct. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? I can't hear you. Can you say it again, please?
Shell.
Mr. Shell, you are here in two matters. The first one, 2021 MM 223 AA on a charge of resisting officer without violence. I did find probable cause for your arrest as to that charge. When I stay your bond in that case, amount of $500. You're also here in case 2021 CF 6749 AO on charges of kidnapping, dating violence, aggravated assault, dating violence, violation of a pretrial release order regarding dating violence, or revoked, and battery dating violence. I reviewed the charging affidavit in that case, did find probable cause for your arrest. State, what do you ask me to do as to count one of the charging affidavit?
Your Honor, as to count one being a kidnapping, which is a punishable by life offense, state is asking that you hold him no bond pending an Arthur hearing.
No argument, Your Honor, pending the Arthur hearing downtown.
Mr. Shell, as to count one, the kidnapping charge is going to hold you at no bond. As to count two, aggravated assault, dating violence, is going to set your bond amount of $50,000. Violation of the pretrial release condition order, I'm going to set your bond amount of $10,000. Driver license suspended, going to set your bond amount of $2,500. And battery dating violence, going to set your bond at $10,000. Condition of your bond, you had no contact with the victim in this case. Did not return to the scene, the location of this incident. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return to any shared residence you may have to retrieve any personal items from that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol while you're out on release. You're out on release in case 2021 MM 3684 AO. In that case, I'm going to revoke that release or bond in that case. I'm going to set a new bond at $0. Condition of that bond, you also still had no contact with the victim in that case. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in all your cases, sir. You have a great day. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Tony Lee Sykes, sir.
Sykes.
Sykes.
Shites?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Shites, you are here in case, 2021 CF 6750 AO on charges of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, domestic violence, and kidnapping, domestic violence. Did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Say what you asked me to do is to count two of the charging affidavit.
Your Honor, as to count two being a kidnapping charge, which is punishable by life, state is asking that you hold him no bond pending an Arthur hearing.
No argument, Your Honor, pending the Arthur hearing downtown.
Mr. Skies, as a count two in this case, I'm going to hold you at no bond. As a count one in this case, I'm going to set your bond amount of $100,000. Condition of your bond, you had no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain, actually not return to the scene of this location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol while you're out on release in this case. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case, sir.
Yes.
No, there's no return. There's straight no return. Do you have any questions about the no contact order at this point?
Yes, sir. Do I get out?
No, sir.
I stay in jail.
Yes, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Good morning, sir. My name is Venetia Brown.
Ms. Brown, you are here in case 2021 MM 3906 AO on charge of battery, domestic violence. Did review the charging affidavit in this case. It did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in this case in amount of $100. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. You had no contact with the victim in this case.
Yes, sir.
You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim.
Yes, sir.
If you have a shared residence with this victim, I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location.
Yes, sir.
You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. Do you have any questions about the no contact order, ma'am?
Yes, sir. I know you stated that you'll do the one-time thing. Does it, has a limit time of doing it? Because I have like my whole work equipment and stuff, so I know that takes much time.
Well, the usual procedure is you need to like schedule it with law enforcement.
Okay.
You need to tell them that there's whatever, something that you need for tools of the trade that may take some little time to move.
Right.
So they're anticipating that when they show up.
Yes, sir.
If you don't tell them that, and then they show up and they need to get to another call, you know, that's gonna end your.
Maxing it out. Yes,
Yep.
sir. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Do I sign right here?
Yes, ma'am.
That's it? Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Chrisanne Crane.
Ms. Crane, you are here in case 2021 MM3908AO on charge of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case, and I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in this case about $250. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. That you need to have no contact with the victim in this case. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return if you have a shared residence with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Do you have any questions about the no contact order, Ms. Crane? I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. You have a great day, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Tasha Diaz.
Ms. Diaz, you're here in case 2021 MM3909AO on charges of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. I need to know if she's seeing somebody for mental health treatment, is she taking medications, what's going on that front for her?
Yes, Your Honor. She doesn't have any current medications, but she did have an appointment to see somebody, Your Honor, but no current medications.
Okay. Ms. Diaz is going to set your bond in this case amount $250. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. You to have no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I will give you a one-time return if you have a shared residence to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. You need to maintain all your mental health counseling appointments. If you are prescribed any mental health medications, you need to take those medications in the dosage in which they are prescribed to you. Do you understand that? You have a great day, ma'am.
Yes.
Yep, have a great day. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name? Ms. Dickinson, you are here in case 2021 MM3885AO on charge of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Sir, can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Anthony Arthur, Arthur.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You put your hand down, sir. Can you tell me how you know Ms. Dickinson?
My girlfriend.
And do you want to have contact with your girlfriend while this case is pending?
Yes, and if I can also say something.
Wait. No. Are you afraid of her?
No, not at all.
Has any instances of domestic violence happened between you all in the past?
No.
Did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
That's what I wanted to say. We were drinking that night.
All right. If something like this were to happen in the future, do you feel comfortable contacting law enforcement?
Yes. And may I speak now?
Sure.
Okay. We were out on a pre-birthday celebration. This time last year, I had COVID, so we was happy to be alive. She doesn't drink, and there was a lot of people up from Philadelphia, so I kept saying, take shots. So it's my fault because she's not a drinker. She didn't drink. We have since talked. We agreed I won't be doing drinking, and we will be going to couple counseling. I signed up with my job EAP program last night to start couple counseling, so we won't have any issues in the future.
All right. Ms. Dickinson, in this case, I want to set your bond in this matter in amount of $100. Conditional your bond be subject to pretrial release supervision. You'd have no hostile contact with the victim in this case. So let me explain that to you. No hostile contact means this. You can be upset with him. You can be mad that he's not treating you the way that you want to be treated, left the toilet seat up. Any of those things like that happen during a relationship. However, those disagreements cannot turn violent. They cannot turn threatening. They cannot come to the point whether he's going to call law enforcement or somebody that sees or hears you all arguing is going to call law enforcement. Because if that happens, you will be arrested. You're spending many of your time here with me at the Orange County Jail. Do you understand that? You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You have a great day, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, and can I get Smith? Dexter? Can I get Smith as well? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Aaron Smith.
Sharon Smith.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Kevin Hall.
Mr. Hall, you're here in case 2021 MM 3884 AO on charge of battery dating violence. Ma'am, can you tell me your name?
Sharon Smith.
Ms. Smith, you are here this morning in case 2021 MM 3883 AO on charge of battery dating violence. I reviewed the charging affidavit and in relation relates to both of your cases. It did find probable cause for your arrest as to both of your charges. Mr. Hall, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You put your hand down. Can you tell me how you know Ms. Smith?
I know Miss.
Yeah. How do you know her?
I know her. We're from the same town, Avon Park. Basically, I've been knowing her a very long time.
All right.
As it being together, we've been together now for 8 years.
All right. And do you want to have contact with her while this case is pending?
Do I want to have contact?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I do want to have contact.
Are you afraid of her?
No, sir.
Has there been instances of domestic violence between you all in the past?
It's a little arguing, beefing, sir, but nothing like
What's not like I'm trying to ascertain.
he is right now.
All right.
Like we in a better place, though.
Well, was this prior incidents of domestic violence I see in her history related to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
No, sir.
Ms. Smith, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You put your hand down. Ma'am, can you tell me how you know Mr. Hall?
I've been with him, dating him for almost 8 years now.
And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes, sir.
Are you afraid of him?
No, sir.
All right, so we already covered the prior instances of domestic violence related, and I see in your history, but I see several prior instances of domestic violence in his past. Those are related to you.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
It was one in the past related to he and I.
Okay, so I see other ones, like
Others out of state, Your Honor.
some out-of-state history and some local history convictions for violation of domestic violence injunctions, violations of pretrial release conditions for domestic violence, and another battery.
Yes, Your Honor.
So,
The 2019 bat by strangulation was in Orange County, and it was Miss Smith.
all right. And did drugs, alcohol play a role in this incident?
No, sir.
All right. All right, Mr. Hall, going to set your bond in this matter amount of $1,500. Condition on your bond, you had no contact with Ms. Smith. You need to maintain separate residence from each other. You may not.
We stay, excuse me, sir, we stay in the same, we at the same hotel, you know what I mean? We living together.
Yeah.
Working, we both got our stuff together. We
But in 8 years, y'all seem not to be able to figure out how to live at peace with each other.
We only had one incident.
I just saw this, there's been one prior domestic violence by strangulation case against you. There's been another, well, I looked at it this morning, another cases of you violating my orders, but I'm telling you right now. So you talking to me right now is not giving me a lot of confidence I should just stay your bond at $1,500. All right? Because you seem not to be able to understand and follow orders from the court. All right? So you're not allowed, no contact with each other. Y'all need to maintain a separate residence. Whose name is on the name of the hotel room?
Well, it's in my name, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Smith is gonna stay at the hotel room. You're gonna have to find a different hotel to stay at. You understand?
Yes.
We'll give you a one-time return to go get your stuff from the hotel room and with law enforcement to get to wherever you need to go. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Ms. Smith, in your case, going to set your bond in the amount of $500. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. You had no contact with the victim in this case. You want to maintain a separate residence from each other. All right, allows you to stay at your whole motel room or hotel room because your name is on that hotel room. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you both. Now, since both of you have a conflict, somebody's going to get the public defender, somebody's going to get regional conflict counsel. All right? Now, I don't know where this case is going, but y'all need to figure that out.
Yes.
Because that's a long time to be with each other and not figure out how to figure it out. There's help. You can sign, you probably had several opportunities to sign up for batterers interventions programs. You've had several opportunities to seek some kind of counseling over 8 years. Those programs have sliding scales up to like somewhere between $20 a month. You can figure that out. Because wherever it is that needs to be figured out, needs to be done. Because eventually, you're gonna pick up a charge you can't get rid of. All right, have a great day.
Thank you.
No. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Adriana Hernandez.
Ms. Hernandez, you are here in case 2021 MM 3882 AO on charges of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in your case. I found probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in this case amount of $250. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. You are to have no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that shared location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case, ma'am. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
Yes, sir, that's my, I don't have family here. I have a daughter, and that's my personal house. I've been living there for 20 years.
Okay.
And how do I don't know what to go or what to do.
I'm just trying to understand your question. So you're saying the house that you
that's
share
my
with,
house.
correct, is your house or is it?
It's my house.
Okay,
It's just a boyfriend.
all right, so you can go back to your house. He can't live there. It's your house.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So, but if I have no contact and I don't know if he's there or not, what do I do?
Well, pretrial release is gonna help you with that, to make sure to verify where the victim is, if he has contact, but I'm ordering that you can return to your house, because it's your house.
Yeah, it's my house. I've been living for 20 years there.
Well, yeah,
It's okay for me to go back to my house.
I'm not sure, because I'm not sure what your relationship with him is. If he's permanently living there for the last 20 years,
No. He's been on and off for 2 years.
yeah, so if does he permanently live, you guys permanently live together? Or does he have another house or apartment or something where he lives?
No, he has his mother's house.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Davis.
That's what the victim put down as his address.
The victim,
Notification card from the arresting officer is that address.
okay. So what does that mean for her? That's what I'm asking.
I mean, it seems like he's living there.
No, he is living with my boyfriend, but he's been having a drinking problem, and the things got worse, and his mother tried to bring him to her house.
Okay.
And it's just not getting better.
Well,
But now,
I can't
So I need to
give you
know-
too much legal advice. I'm pointing to the public defender to represent you, so you have an attorney to represent you. You need to call the number on the green sheet of paper if you have some questions, because I'm not sure I don't have enough information to tell you that he's a tenant and you had to evict him or all kind of stuff like that. I don't
He
know.
happened to believe with me, but what I was trying to say is that it's my house.
Correct. But when you allow somebody to live there an adult person to live there without a lease, then you're opening yourself up to
I
a
didn't.
lot of other things.
I didn't know.
So I know, I can't give you any legal advice, so I'm trying to tell you that you need to call the number on the green sheet of paper, talk to your attorney. They possibly can help you figure that out, but I can't give you advice as to that. Right now, you guys can't live together. I'm ordering that you guys can't live
My
together.
house to get my stuff to go or no?
You have an order to go to your house to get your stuff. Hopefully, he's not there. You can stay at your house, but you need to figure that out with your attorney and when you call law enforcement to make that happen, and work with pretrial release services when you leave. So all those people are there to help you try to succeed. So work with your attorney, work with pretrial release, work with law enforcement to make sure you don't violate my orders, okay?
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Have a great day. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Octavian Johnson.
Sir, you're here this morning in case 2021 MM 3917AO on charge of battery dating violence. Did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Sir, can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
First name is Willie, last name is Willis, Willis.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in?
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir, can you tell me how you know Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Johnson and I used to be roommates or whatever, used to be in a relationship a while back.
All right. And do you want to have contact with Mr. Johnson while this case is pending?
I do.
Have there been prior instances of domestic violence between you all in the past?
They have, Your Honor, but I have something to say about this incident here.
One second. Did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
It did not.
If something like this were to happen in the future, do you feel comfortable contacting law enforcement?
I do.
All right. Say, you got any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
And
No questions, Your Honor.
all right.
Your Honor, at this time, I tried to explain this to the officer last night. He told me that he had to take one of us to jail. I didn't pursue any charges against Mr. Johnson. I didn't press any charges against Mr. Johnson, and neither did he. They got the story incorrect, or it was incohesive or whatever. So even when I spoke to the store manager, they said that
You gotta slow down. You gotta slow down because I'm trying to, it's hard to say. All right.
it was a little misunderstanding, but there was never an issue with me and Mr. Johnson. He never put his hands on me. He never touched me. I'm not in fear of my life. I'm not afraid of him or anything like that. I don't understand why he's even here or I'm here, to be honest with you.
Your Honor,
I'm asking the state not to even pursue this because I'm not.
Okay.
I believe there's video surveillance, Your Honor, that the officer watched, which the defendant is observed swinging at Mr. Willis.
It was never that.
Your Honor.
Oh, wait a second. I'll make sure. All right.
And Your Honor, regarding the out on bond, the 2 counts of the ag bat with a deadly weapon, one victim is Mr. Willis, the other is a different victim. I believe the deadly weapon in that case was a knife.
Your Honor,
I couldn't tell. I didn't have. I was trying to look up the case. Was there a no contact order put in place in that case?
And
Had it ever been modified by the court?
it was modified, Your Honor.
All right. So you see what my dilemma is then at that point, right?
I understand, but I mean, if he had done anything wrong, I raised my right hand, so I wouldn't purge myself. So therefore, if he had done something wrong, I would say, Your Honor, he did something wrong or whatever this time. But I'm not going to sit here, and that's why I'm asking the state not to pursue any charges in this case because he didn't do anything wrong to me. He never
Right now,
touched me or anything
we're not
like
at the
that.
point of the state deciding whether they're going to charge him or not. That's not where we are right now. Right now, we are at what we call initial appearances or first appearances, where my job is to set release conditions that abide by what the Florida legislature tells me I need to consider in our Florida Constitution.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
There's prior history between the victim and the defendant, protecting the public, ensuring that the defendant's going to show up to court, those kind of things like that.
Okay.
All right? So, Mr. Johnson, in this case, the court is going to set your bond amount of $5,000. Condition of your bond, you had no contact with the victim in this case. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. You need to turn over any weapons or firearms you have to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release.
Based on victim testimony, there's still a no contact order?
Why would it be?
Yeah, because right now, I don't know, I'm not sure what Mr. Willis perceived, because right now was what the law enforcement officer perceived as an escalating argument that seems to be captured on video whatever's going on. It was enough. What do I say when I say no hostile contact? Whether it's going to cause him to call law enforcement or whether it's going to cause somebody to cease them arguing to call law enforcement. So that'd be a violation of even if this is my order, even if you may not perceive it as being threatening, but if somebody else perceived it to be that way, be a violation of my order. Do you understand that?
Right, but there was, Your Honor, what I'm
So I'm not sure what the felony judge explained to you or explained to him about what that is. My interpretation is pretty broad. I try to make it as broad as I can to make sure people don't violate that order.
But Your Honor, I promise you, and I give you my word, there was never any altercation. That's what I'm saying. If it was, I wouldn't be here. And I would love to still have contact with him, even as a friend.
Right now, there's no contact. So don't encourage him to violate my orders. You're also out on bond in that case that we were to say was referring to in case 2020 CF 8141 AO. The court's going to revoke those bonds set out in that case. Going to set new bonds at $0. Condition those bonds, you have no contact with the victims in those cases.
The case was unrelated to this alleged victim, Your Honor. And
it was. That's what the state just told you.
Same victim. One charge was this victim and.
It's
another charge
two
was separate
victims. One has to deal with Mr. Willis, and the charge has to deal with another
I
victim.
believe a higher bond on the out-on-bond case should be sufficient to keep him compliant with court orders. He works full-time.
That's something that you gotta discuss with the division judge downtown. But. Everybody have a great day. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Good morning, Christopher Yepes.
Right. Hold on a second. Let's deal with Ms. McCrimmon. This is Ms. McCrimmon in case 2021 MM 2147 AO on charge of battery domestic violence. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent her.
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
And Ms. McCrimmon's case is going to set her bond in the amount of $5,000. Condition of the bond that she had no contact with the victim in this case. Maintain a separate residence from this victim. That she not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms she has need to be turned to law enforcement within 24 hours of her release. She may not. I'm sorry. Say you asking for any other conditions?
Your Honor, I don't believe you did a one-time return.
All right, give her the one-time return with law enforcement to any shared residence to retrieve any personal items she has at that location. Yeah, I'm gonna strike the no return and, as I did highlight that, strike the no return and say maintain separate residences. All right, say your name one more time for me, sir.
Christopher Yepes.
Mr. Yepes, you're here in case 2021 MM 3914 AO on charge of battery domestic violence and criminal mischief in count 2. I did review the charging affidavit in your case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Ma'am, can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Stephanie Colon, Colon.
Ma'am, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and none but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You put your hand down, ma'am. Can you tell me how you know Mr. Yepes?
He was my boyfriend.
I can't hear you.
He was my boyfriend.
All right. Do you want to have contact with Mr. Yepes?
No, sir.
All right. Has there been prior instances of domestic violence between you all in the past?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Yepes, in count 1 of the case, the court's going to set your bond amount of $1,000. Count 2, $500. Condition your bond be pretrial release supervision in both counts. You may not have any contact with the victim in this case. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your arrest. Do you all live together?
Yes.
Say it?
Yes.
You must maintain a separate residence. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. One more question, ma'am. Did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
No, sir.
Sir, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You have any questions about the no contact order?
I'm concerned as far as my my contact with my children.
How many children do you have?
2, sir.
Did he sign the birth certificate for those 2 children?
Yes, sir.
Well, listen to me. Do you all have a shared bank account where you all pay bills out of?
No, sir.
Who pays the bills?
He does. I'm on leave right now.
All right, Mr. Yepes, conditioning your pretrial release. You need to maintain support of those 2 children. You understand that? So that includes making sure that the rent's paid or mortgages are paid, making sure that these 2 children have whatever they need to provide, to live the life they were already living prior to this incident happening. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you want to have contact with your children, you got to figure that out with the division judge. Whether it's the third-party drop-off, time sharing, those kind of things like that need to be put in place. I'm not going to address those today. But right now, until you can get in front of your division judge for your bond hearing or modifications of the release, you need to maintain no contact. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Don't violate my orders.
Yes, sir.
Have a great day. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Adrian Baker.
Mr. Baker, you're here in case 2021 CT 947AW on charge of driving license suspended. Did review the charging affidavit, did find probable cause for your arrest. Was there an offer discussed or sent over to Mr. Baker?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer that was conveyed was a withhold credit time served.
All right.
Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Baker in the back about the state's offer, and we spoke about the citizenship and probationary issues, as well as the enhanceability of the driving while license suspended, and I believe Mr. Baker would still like to enter a plea of no contest.
All right, did you fill out a plea form? All right. Good morning, Mr. Baker. Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Sir. You put your hand down. Sir, you're here in case 2021 CT 947AW on a charge of driving license suspended. That is a second-degree misdemeanor. It's punishable up to 60 days in the county jail and a $500 fine. Do you understand that? Do you want to enter pleas of guilty or no contest to resolve this case today? Do you understand by entering a plea of no contest, you're going to be waiving all the rights outlined on that plea form that's in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
Yes, sir.
Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
Yes, sir.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter this plea?
Yes, sir.
You understand by entering this plea, if you're not a United States citizen, it could subject you to deportation.
Yes, sir.
I did have an opportunity to review your charging affidavit, so I did find a factual basis for the entering of your plea. I accept your plea of no contest. Find your plea is freely and voluntarily entered. I'll withhold adjudication of guilt. I give you credit for the 2 days that you spent in the Orange County Jail with 2 days credit time served. The court costs and cost of prosecution in this case are $301. I'll give you 1 year from today's date to pay that money directly to the clerk in full. You'll have 30 days from today's date to appeal your judgment and sentence in writing in this case. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You have a great day, sir.
All right, for the record, I spoke to him as a friend of the court, Your Honor.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? Mr. Caban, you're here in case 2021 CT 4123AO on charge of driving a license suspended. I did review the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. State that you convey an offer to Mr. Caban.
Yes, Your Honor, the offer that was conveyed was a withhold credit time served.
Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Caban in the back, and we've decided that we would just like to have a bond set and deal with some of the charges downtown.
Okay. Now, Ms. Caban, I'm going to state your bond in this case amount of $500, condition of your bond that you not operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. You have a great day, sir.
Thank you. You too. God bless.
Your Honor, I'm sorry I misspoke. It was an adjudication, but.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have a Craig Davis. That's the. Nope. Yeah. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Rafael de Jesus.
Yeah. Sorry, say it again.
Rafael de Jesus.
Mr. De Jesus, you're here in case 2020 CT 5153AO for a failure to appear warrant. The judge in that case set your bond amount of $500. You're also here in case 2020 CT 3704AO for a failure to appear warrant. The judge in that case set your bond at $0. Was there an offer to convey to Mr. De Jesus to resolve one or both cases?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer to convey both are both an adjudication, credit time served.
Okay. Is he already represented by the public defender's office in these cases?
I believe so, Your Honor. I'll double check. They are 2020 cases. He is represented by the PD in the 3704 case. And I don't believe I currently have him represented in the 5153.
They were? Okay, yep, both cases, sir. Say, for this next case, Ramford, does he have a business purpose license? I didn't have a chance to look him up.
I didn't convey an offer, Your Honor, due to it being a DUI suspension.
Well, I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know if he has a BPO.
Can you just look on his, look up his driver's license, like, real quick?
Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. De Jesus DeVal about the state's offer, and we've decided to take the bond. He'll call our office and have an attorney appointed to him, and they'll deal with the charges downtown.
Well, he's already represented by the public defender's office in both cases. So, sir, I'm going to stay your bond in 2020 CT 5153AO, the amount of $500. And in 2020 CT 3704AO, I'm going to stay your bond and no bond. You have a great day, sir. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Benjamin Ramford.
Mr. Ramford, you're here in case 2021 CT 4127AO on charge of driver license suspended. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. I'm not sure this is the right charge. That's why I'm.
Your Honor, are you going, if I may, are you going to the facts of the temporary license for business purposes only?
Yeah, I mean, the charge for it means you have a valid, like, if you have a business purpose license, you have a valid license. The question then becomes.
I looked up the driver's license check. I don't see a BPO.
Yeah,
on
so
there.
he was saying he had a business purpose license, but then
I don't
I was
believe he
trying to
has
see if that
one.
was true or not.
May I approach?
That's what
Yes, sir.
the officer said, and then the officer never asked any questions about whether business purposes exist or not. He just assumed there were none.
Okay. Yeah, good. I can't hear what you're saying.
The officer never asked, or there are no facts that indicated that he asked if he was out on business or not. So because there are no facts to suggest that he was.
He doesn't have a business purpose license. That's the thing I think I was trying, he kind of wrote around that, but that's what I gathered from reading the charging affidavit was that Mr. Ramford was never actually issued a business purpose license.
But even so, and I mean, there's probable cause now, but there wasn't probable cause at the time of the arrest affidavit. Therefore, I mean, maybe this is an argument for downtown, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I read the charging affidavit, what I took from reading the charging affidavit, that Mr. Ranford was out driving while he had just been arrested on a DUI, which was automatically suspend your license. Then he was claiming to the officer that he was out on a business purpose, for business purposes, or he had a business purpose permit, which
well,
I was all trying to verify whether that was true or not.
With the amount of notice then, because if he was under the impression that he had a temporary license and the officer also assumed that he had a temporary license, even up until this point, we know now they didn't have we don't have a temporary license, but the notice. But
We
again,
do
that might
know.
be an argument for downtown.
Yeah,
Weird feeling about that.
the PD case, the out on bond case. What does he have for that? Melissa Vickers? I think they work for the same office. I think she works for his office.
Your Honor, there's conflicting facts here. I would have you take no action on the out on bond case so that we can have him out of jail as well as dealing with the temporary license issue. It seems that he had one that he could use within 10 days to have it printed off and usable. And because of the facts in the arrest affidavit, I'm not convinced that he was on notice that he didn't have a temporary license, that he was still assuming that he had a temporary license and able
Well,
to drive.
when you get a business purpose license, you actually got to go to the DMV and
Obtain it. And the
obtain a
DMV
license from there's no like, back in, when I was a kid, you actually would get like a little piece of paper, like for your temporary license until they sent you one in the mail. Then that was like
I understand.
long. I see Dexter shaking his head. That was many, many years ago. Now you guys get your license printed at the DMV at the time you get your license. So they ended that practice, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that probably.
I understand.
So
I think there's just a good faith.
now, so what I was going to do is going to set your bond, in this case, amount of $1,000. Condition your bond that you not operate a motor vehicle without valid license. You're out on bond in this DUI case, 2021 CT 3910. In that case, I'm going to revoke your bond, give you a new bond, set your bond amount of $2,500. Condition of that bond that you not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You not operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You be subject to random drug and alcohol testing in that case. All right, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in your new case. I think you have Melissa Vickers or Jacob Stewart's office representing you in the old case. All right.
Excuse me?
I believe you have private counsel in your DUI case, correct? All right, but I'm going to appoint the public defender unless you don't want me to in your new case.
I think the only issue, Your Honor, and as a friend of the court on the out of bond case, is the monetary attainability. He's been unemployed for 2 years. I don't know if he can afford to bail out on the new bond amount, combined with the current charge. I know you were issuing that new bond in good faith, Your Honor, but I wanted to make sure the client was heard on that.
Well, you call Jacob Stewart's office or Ms. Vickers, I don't know who's representing you from his office, and speak to them about that. All right. Is anybody showing for arraignments? I've got an arraignment in my hand here for Perez Merchant.
She's no longer in custody, I don't think.
All right. And then somebody gave me an arraignment for a Talanet? All right. All right, this case 2021 CT 3816AO. Going to appoint, she's a public defender client here for the arraignment on charge of driving under the influence.
We'll waive the appearance and enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
All right, we'll serve for pretrial in Division 82.
Division 82 pretrial conference, July 19th at 10:30 and 10B.
All right. Does anybody have anything for the better of the order?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
It is 1:31 p.m., Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. Counsel for the parties, please put your appearance on record.
Taylor May on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Tyler Brands on behalf of the Office of Public Defender.
All right, let's get started. Please tell me your name.
Terrell Timmons.
You have a warrant out of Alachua County in 12020 CF 1344 for violating probation. There's no bond authorized on that. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and we'll notify Alachua County that you're here so they can transport you.
All right.
All right, good luck, sir. Sir, please tell me your name.
Joseph Johnson.
21MM 3912. You're here charged with possession of drug paraphernalia and soliciting without a permit. There is probable cause. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer was an adjudication credit time served on the soliciting and a no info on the drug paraphernalia.
I didn't get a chance to speak about the offer, Your Honor, if I can have a few seconds, please.
Yes.
Was that also offer of no prosecution on the possession of drug paraphernalia?
It was an adjudication, credit time served on soliciting, and no info on the paraphernalia.
Thank you. I spoke with Mr. Johnson about the offer from the state, Your Honor, and we went over the citizenship and probationary issues as well as the rights to be waived on that plea form. And Mr. Johnson would still like to enter a plea of no contest today.
Please raise your right hand, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you heard what Mr. Branch just said as a friend of the court. Is that what you want to do here today?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering a plea of no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for me about those rights?
No, ma'am.
Other than the state's offer, has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to enter this plea today?
No, ma'am.
All right, at this time, how do you wish to plead to the charge of soliciting without a permit?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the 2 days that you've been in jail. I have to order that you pay court costs in this case. Sir, do you have a job?
No, ma'am.
All All right, at this time, I'm going to reduce that to a lien. Does the state have an announcement?
Yes, Your Honor, state announces a no information as to count 1, the possession of drug paraphernalia. May I approach the clerk? with the
Yes,
no
please.
information notice?
Sir, so what that means is the state just dropped that charge against you. So do you have any questions for me about what we did here today?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal in writing.
Thank you.
All right, that's 21 MM 3919, trespass. I find her refusal a willing waiver of her appearance today in court. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office.
Your Honor, I was doing research on her previous case, 2019 MM 7566. She has been deemed incompetent to proceed.
I'm sorry, did you say incompetent?
Incompetent to proceed on that case. I would have you release your ROR when she's available to the trespass charge before you today. I've also brought a court order confirming that, as well as the evaluation, I believe the most recent evaluation on her competency. Their conclusion, of course, was she's incompetent to proceed, needs to go to Aspire to enroll in a competency restoration program. I have a copy if you would like.
All right, if you could approach with that. Does the state object to an ROR in this case?
Your Honor, she has 22 failures to appear. There hasn't been a finding of incompetency in the instant case. They would ask that you find bond in this case. And we'll leave it within your discretion on the out on bond.
I don't have an out on bond case.
I have her, this is
Oh,
Ms.
wait,
Smith,
I
correct?
do.
Yes. She has a trespass that she's also out on bond for.
Hold for competency hearing. I see. Hold on.
And respectfully, Your Honor, it seems, according to Mr. Brands' argument, that she's supposed to turn herself into Aspire. Obviously, that has not happened, and she's picking up new law offenses. I believe it makes more sense for the court to have bond on this case, so she's able to see the trial court, for that judge to then make another determination regarding her comp status and trying to get her into Aspire to comply with these said orders.
To be fair, if she's incompetent to proceed in another case, Your Honor, she's incompetent to proceed in this case as well, and to hold her in custodial limbo would be unfair.
Hold on, I couldn't hear that last part. Can you get closer to the microphone?
To hold her in custodial limbo would be unfair, as she has less rights than a competent defendant.
Your Honor, that's a mischaracterization of the law. Just because she's incompetent in one case does not mean she's incompetent in another.
That is correct. Incompetency is a fluid state of being.
Correct, Your Honor, but the law does allow us to make a motion to adopt the findings in other cases.
However, that motion has not been filed.
Right, we're not going to do that today. Hold on one second, let me read this.
Your Honor, the state's concern is she fails to appear and she's refusing court. She doesn't seem to be complying or attempting to comply. So just releasing her ROR, I feel like, would continue an ongoing issue of making sure she complies with her competency orders as well as other court orders.
It does seem like that's the case, Mr. Brands, with 22 failures to appear, and then I'm reading the evaluation that you presented to the court. And the recommendation back in February was that she be referred to the competency restoration program offered by Aspire. Once enrolled, she would be referred for treatment at Aspire. And there's a reasonable probability of competency restoration in the next 6 months. That's what this evaluation says.
I understand, Your Honor. I can't in good conscience argue that an incompetent defendant is unable to comply, perhaps due to their incompetence, and that to keep them in custody and in jail is unfair, as they have less rights than a competent defendant would.
Well, Mr. Brands, I will not be holding her at no bond. I will give her a bond, but I'm not going to grant your motion for a release on her own recognizance based on the arguments of both parties and the evidence presented. what I'm going to do is stay her bond at $500. She's not allowed to return to 7-Eleven at 938 West Colonial Drive. Mr. Brands, do you want these documents back, or do you want it filed in this case?
I can take them back. They're mostly for review. For your
Okay,
anyway.
I appreciate that, and if I were you, I would make a note for your colleagues about that, for the trial judge to hear it quickly.
I will, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And no action on the out-on bond?
She refused, so I waived her appearance. I'm sorry?
No action on the out-on bond?
Yes, no action on the out-on bond. Oh, they're ready? Oh, is that him? Okay, great. This is Judge Gibson. Who do I have on the line?
This is Isabel DeRocha, court interpreter.
Thank you. Has the interpreter been sworn today?
I have.
All right. We have you over the speaker, the loudspeaker in the courtroom, not attached to the headset, just for your information.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, please tell me your name.
Monsieur Kijan Relais,
Wicked James Edward.
Woody James Edward,
Wicked James Edward.
Whitney James Edward.
I have it. Wicked Jims Edward.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're here in 21 CF 672980, charged with burglary of an occupied structure and assault.
Et ou ici dans 6729 AO ou accusé de et on attaque et que ou t'es cassé en cas avec un homme.
At this time, I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Ma bonne défenseur public qui pour représenter au Kounia.
There is probable cause in this case.
Gagne assez évidence dans cas ça.
I'll stay your bond at $5,000 on count 1, $100 on count 2.
Si m'a mettez bon ou caution ou pour $5,000 sous premier chef accusation, $100 sous deuxième chef accusation.
While out on bond, you are not allowed to return to the 7-Eleven gas station at 6994 West Colonial Drive. Do you understand?
Et pendant que ou en liberté ou pas capable de retourner dans 7-Eleven qui dans 6994 West Colonial Drive. Est-ce que vous comprenez?
Oui, mais problème.
Yes, I understand.
You're not allowed to have contact with the victim or witness in this case. Do you understand what no... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ou pas capable de gagner contact avec témoin ou bien et victime dans cas ça?
Do you understand what no contact means?
Est-ce que vous comprenez qui ça no contact là veut dire?
Oui.
Yes.
Your Honor, for the record, that is the witness you're referring to is Miss Natalie Cruz.
Thank you.
Victime là relais Nathalie Cruz, témoin relais Nathalie Cruz.
You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition.
Ou pas capable de gagner aucune arme de n'importe quelle qualité, arme à feu ou bien munitions. Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Just one moment.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm reading. That's not the only name.
Yes, the victim is Tormy Parker, which is the
Okay.
7-Eleven employee. Miss Cruz is the witness that the employee was shielding when this occurred.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yes, Your Honor.
La victime là c'est Tommy Parker et Madame Cruz c'était témoin que victime là tape est protégée.
Are there any other conditions the state would request?
Est-ce que bien l'autre condition l'État t'a demandé?
No, Your Honor.
Non, juge.
Good luck, sir.
Bonne chance, monsieur.
Do you have a question?
Ou des questions?
Okay. All right, thank you, Madam Interpreter. I believe that's all we have for you today.
No problem. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Please tell me your name.
Michael Brandon Tucker.
You're here in 21 MM 3886, charged with trespass in a structure or conveyance. There is probable cause in this case. Was there an offer?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond will be $500, and you're not allowed to return to, is it the 7-Eleven?
Yes, Your Honor.
The 7-Eleven on 1117 East Cimarron Boulevard. Do you understand that?
Yes. No way to plea out today?
No, the state doesn't have an offer for you at this time.
You know when the next court date is?
I do not. But contact your attorney at that number, and they'll be able to tell you.
Okay.
All right, good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Juan Manuel de Leon.
21 CF 6730. You're here charged with battery on a corrections officer. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
may I inquire as to whether or not it was the juice that was considered a deadly weapon or what was considered a deadly weapon in the affidavit, the arrest affidavit?
It's not charged as a deadly weapon.
That's not the charge in this case.
It's
It's
battery on a
corrections officer.
I had two other charges on,
Right, but they're not in this.
Because this is an add-on. He's already been seen on those other charges.
I see. Strike that from the record, Your Honor, please.
All right. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond is $2,500. And because of the charge, are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor. State's not requesting a no contact because I believe that could be up to the corrections officer.
Right.
How much contact he's.
If you bond out, you're not allowed to possess a weapon, firearm, or ammunition. That's it. All right, good luck, sir. All right. 21 CF 6752, introduction of contraband into a detention facility. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office.
Your Honor, I did have some mental health, if not competency concerns.
Hold on, Counselor, first, are you going to waive her appearance?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
And then I believe, just by reading the arrest affidavit, I had some mental health comp concerns. If you could keep that in your consideration when you set bond.
Your Honor, respectfully, I don't believe anything's been filed with the court. She just picked up a contraband charge that she had got DOC for May 10th of 2021. If there were comp concerns, she wouldn't apply to that case and be in DOC. She also just got a VOP for entering contraband into a detention facility. It seems to be an ongoing issue with Ms. Dowell. I asked you to take that into consideration. Yeah, I understand that it is just an F3. However, I don't think the bond is reasonable given her history of doing the same exact thing over and over again.
I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000. She's not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Please tell me your name.
Miranda Kelly.
21 CF 6678. You're here charged with possession of oxycodone and possession of cannabis under 20 grams. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. I'll stay your bond at $1,000 on count 1, $100 on count 2. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not allowed to have contact with any known drug dealers. You're also not allowed to have contact with Antonio Lamal Scott.
Your Honor.
Yes.
On the out-on-bond case, I would have you consider the addictive effects of hydrocodone, oxycodone, and other opioids. You can also consider her criminal history pretty slim, other than the arrest for possession. I would have you consider that. You're perhaps taking no action on the out on bond case. If not, then just a higher monetary bond.
What says the state?
Your Honor, she was out on bond for 2 drug offenses, and she picked up additional drug offenses. State would ask that you revoke. If you're not otherwise inclined to straight revoke it, state would ask that you at least double. We ended up filing on the hydrocodone and the meth. It came in as MDMA and controlled substance.
And what?
It came in as MDMA and a controlled substance. We filed on hydrocodone and meth.
Yeah, I think I'm going to revoke it at this time. Ma'am, when you're out on bond, you can't get arrested for new law violations. I'm going to revoke it. Your attorney's going to have to file a motion in front of the trial judge. Good luck. Please tell me your name. All right, this is 21 CF 6706. I see that he's charged with criminal mischief. I don't have a probable cause affidavit. Does the state?
No, Your Honor, state is asking for a 24-hour reset.
All right, I'll grant you that. We'll see this one tomorrow. We're going to have to bring you back tomorrow, Mr. Reed.
Are you going to stay the bond just in case he wants to bond?
Yes, I'll stay the bond. Okay. All right, good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
David Fleming.
You have a warrant out of Dade County in F000412444. Looks like a violation of probation on charges of kidnapping, sexual battery, robbery, strong arm. There's no bond on this, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. We'll notify Dade County that you're here so they can come pick you up. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Wilfredo Vargas.
You have 2 cases, 21MM 763 and 658. Looks like warrants out of Osceola County. One is a violation of a pretrial release condition on a battery DV case. There's no bond authorized on that. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Did you want to say something, sir?
I got a lawyer.
Oh, you have an attorney?
Yes, because with the pre-trial, I called my public defender up. I was trying to explain to her that I'm getting a lawyer. She said everything's okay. So when I went to the chapel to sign off for it, they said I don't have to do nothing, and they put a warrant against my arrest.
All right. So you don't want me to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you?
Excuse me?
You don't want me to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you?
I'm ready to pay for my lawyer.
Did you hire an attorney?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you have a violation of a condition of pretrial release and on a battery DV, and another violation of a condition of pretrial release on a battery DV. Both of those cases are out of Osceola County. We'll notify Osceola County that you're here so that they can transport you, and I'll take no action on the out on bond case. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Elio Guido.
21MM 3916. You're here charged with battery. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Repeat yourself?
I'm sorry? Did you ask me a question?
No.
Okay. Your bond will be $1,000. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
Understand.
You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Where do you live?
Bronx, New York.
Were you here on vacation, or were you here, do you have family or friends here?
Vacation.
I'll allow her to return to New York, but
I've told
she
her to-
can't have any contact with the victim, so I don't think she can fly JetBlue. Because there's no way to know if the victim's on that flight. Right, until she gets there.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But I did tell her to call our office to keep up to date with any court dates so that she can appear when on notice.
Let's see.
All right, so I'll allow you to return to New York while this case is pending, but you can't fly JetBlue because you can't have contact with that victim. Do you understand that?
I understand.
All right, good luck, ma'am.
Sorry, Your Honor, I was stumped by that.
Right,
That JetBlue.
as I started thinking about it, I can't say you can fly JetBlue because if the flight attendant is there when she gets to the airport, she'd have to cancel that flight, right? So,
That's true.
all right,
There are other airlines as
right, plenty of others. Please tell me your name. What's your name, sir?
I'm Crew. Darian.
Darian Crew? Is that-
That's a speed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're here in 21 MM 3913, charged with providing a false identification to a law enforcement officer. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. What is is that your actual name?
No.
Darian Crew is not? What's your actual name?
Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith. Sorry, I just want to call you by the appropriate name.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause here, sir. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm going to stay your bond at $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor. I believe he has other conditions in the other cases.
All right. Good luck, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Please tell me your name.
Jefferson Millard.
What's your last name?
Millard, M-I-L-R-R-D.
Oh, okay. All right, you're here in 21 MM 388, charged with trespass and occupied structure. There is probable cause. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer conveyed was an adjudication, credit time served, and no return to the 7-Eleven.
Your Honor, I talked to Mr. Malord about the state's offer and the repercussions of citizenship or probationary issues by entering that plea. I advised him not to take the plea, but he wishes to take the plea on his own.
Because I want to go home.
All right, please raise your right hand, sir.
Your Honor, would you consider taking no action if he enters a plea on the trespass today, no action on the out on bond case?
I'll consider it, but that's the other thing I'm going to address with him.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand, sir.
Right hand?
The other right.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Millard. Did you hear what Mr. Brands just said?
Yes.
Did he explain to you the rights you're giving up if you enter this plea?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me about those rights?
Yes.
What's your question?
I would like to go home to my girl house.
All right.
He said if I take the plea, I would go home, but is there consequences behind it? I'm not, all right, I don't care.
You might not go home today.
Why? Why, man?
I'm going to explain it right now. You're out on bond in 21 CF 4826, charged with possession of, I think it says meth, and possession of drug paraphernalia. A condition of being out on bond is that you not commit any new law violations. So, Mr. Brands has asked the court, as a friend of the court, not to revoke that bond, but I don't know if I'm going to yet. So even if you enter a plea today, you may not go home today. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, but
Okay,
Your Honor, may I approach?
yes. Give us one moment. All right, sir. You understand that if you enter a plea to this charge today, you'll be giving up your right to remain silent, your right to testify on your own behalf, your right to a jury trial. You understand all those rights. Is that correct? You have to answer out loud.
yes, ma'am.
You also understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen and you enter a plea of guilty or no contest to this charge, you could be deported. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that by entering a plea today, and you've already said to me you just want to go home, you might go home today, but you might also be deported.
Yes, ma'am.
So you understand the risk that you're taking?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, we're making a record, so I have to make sure that your answers are clear. All right, Mr. Millard, have you ever been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
Yes.
You have? When?
Man, when I was in the foster care,
When you were what?
when I was growing up in the foster care, they had diagnosed me with schizophrenia bipolar.
Oh, in foster care. So was that a long time ago or recently?
Long time ago.
Do you ever have any symptoms of your mental health diagnosis now?
No,
You
no.
have to answer out loud.
No.
All right, how far did you go in school, sir?
10th grade.
You went to 10th grade? So you read and write English,
Yes.
and you understand everything we're talking about here today?
Yes.
Do you have a job?
No.
Why not?
Because 'cause I had cut this 3 tendons in my hand, and I couldn't, like,
You have an injury?
yeah, major injury.
Okay.
Your Honor, I believe he pled about a month and a half ago.
To a failure to appear on a trespass. I see it.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know if that eases any of your concerns.
I show that he was Baker acted 3 times. So, Mr. Millard, it looks like you might have been Baker acted in 2017. Do you remember that?
2017,
2017, yes, sir.
when that was?
I don't know what it was for. That's what I was going to ask you. Do you remember that?
I remember I've been Baker active, but I've been doing like the 3 day, and then they let me out, and then I'll be going back to my girl house and stuff like that, and then other than that, I remember I've been staying, trying to not get Baker active again and stuff like that.
Where does your girl live?
Over there on John Young,
Is it close to the 7-Eleven on South Orange Blossom Trail?
close to the fish market over there on Ohio Street. Yeah,
All right.
by the Spanish food market.
So it's far enough away from the 7-Eleven on South Orange Blossom Trail that you wouldn't go back there if I say you can't?
Yes, ma'am. I won't go back there.
And you understand what that means? You can't go back for any reason. You can't go get gas or buy a slushie.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't go back.
Yes, ma'am. I promise I won't go back.
Does anyone else have any other concerns?
I put it on my mama. I won't go back there.
I couldn't hear you, what?
I said I put it on my mommy. Like, on my mama, I won't go back there no more.
So you're gonna go back to your mom's?
No, I said I put it on my mama that I won't go back to the 7-Eleven no
Oh,
more.
I see.
And I'm gonna go straight to my girl house. And
Are you on any prescriptions? Did a doctor prescribe any medications for you?
not in here.
Outside of jail, are you on any prescriptions?
Yes, I'm supposed to go to Lakeside and then get,
Do you know what they're for?
it's a muscle relaxer, and I'll be taking the, Circle.
And what's that for?
It's for, help me sleep.
It's to help you sleep?
Yeah, and, muscle relaxer is to have me in a good mood, not depressed and stuff like that.
But today, you're not under the influence of any drugs or alcohol, right?
No, ma'am.
So nothing's impairing your ability to understand what we were doing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How do you wish to plead to 21 MM 3888, trespass and occupied structure?
No contest.
I'm going to accept your plea of no contest. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the 2 days that you've been in jail. Now, I'm ordering that you can't go back to that 7-Eleven, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And you told me that you wouldn't.
Yes.
All right, do you have any questions about this?
No.
Your Honor, state requests that you take no action on his out on bond. We haven't filed it yet.
All right, I'm not going to revoke your bond, so you will go home today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal in writing. Oh, and I have to order that you pay court costs. I'll give you a year to pay it.
For the record, Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Millard as a friend of the court.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck, sir. Have a nice day.
All right. Am I going home today?
You are?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Please tell me your name.
Julian Massacott.
2019 MM 9635, a capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for an arraignment on a charge of battery. The bond authorized on that capias is $5,000, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. Do you understand? All right. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Samuel Lamar Taylor III.
You have two capiases. In 2019 MM 9583, a capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for a status hearing on mental health pretrial release on a charge of trespass on property other than a structure. Oh, no, the bond is mental health pretrial release. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office. And then your other is a warrant for violating conditions of pretrial release. There's no bond authorized on that warrant, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you in that case as well. Good luck, sir.
So when is my next court date?
I don't know the answer to that. You'll have to talk to your attorney. It
Do I
won't
have a
be in
bond?
front of me.
Do I have a bond?
You have a bond in one of the cases, but not the other.
Okay.
So you can't be released yet.
What's my attorney?
The Public Defender's Office. They'll assign you an attorney. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Deidre Tompkins.
A warrant was issued for your arrest in 20 MM 7842 for violating your probation by possessing or consuming methamphetamine as evidenced by a random urinalysis test administered on January 8th, 2021. Also, marijuana showed up in the same test. Benzodiazepines showed up in the same test. And then possessing, or consuming methamphetamine on April 2nd, 2021, and also cocaine on April 2nd, 2021. And failing to complete the impulse control class within 90 days. Your bond is $2,000 plus drug testing through PTR after 14 days from bonding out. And I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Yes, ma'am?
I actually completed that class, and I emailed her my completion. I haven't saw my JPO for the last 4 months until I went to her in April.
I believe you, but I can't change this. It was issued by another judge, so you need to talk to the Public Defender's Office. They'll assign you an attorney, and then they can make that case in front of the trial judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, so is that the 2,000 and PTR or just drug testing through PTR?
It says 2,000 and drug testing through PTR. That's what's written on the warrant.
And in regards to her out on bond, I see that's currently in capias. Are you taking any action on it?
It's currently what?
Just capias.
Capias has already been issued?
It's in capias status because she didn't show up for trial management yesterday before they picked her up on this warrant.
Oh.
Your Honor, to
She
my
was supposed
knowledge.
to appear at 9 a.m.
Your Honor, to my knowledge and to my notes, she was present at the courthouse for that hearing and then was arrested due to the capias on the probation violation. So she couldn't theoretically be in two places at once. If she's been arrested, she can't go to the hearing. I would have you consider that in your action on the out on bond case.
I'm not going to take any action, but if there's a capias pending, you'll be held and they'll serve the capias on you. Yes, I'll ask him. Mr. Brandt, do you want to enter a denial so we can give her a VOP date?
Yes, we'll enter a denial.
VOP status hearing will be June 30th at 9:30 a.m., courtroom 12C.
Good luck, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Thomas Walton.
20 CT 5140. A warrant was issued for your arrest for violating your probation by committing the offense of driving while license suspended as a habitual offender on or about May 12th and failing to comply with conditions of collections court. There's no bond authorized on this warrant, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck, sir. Do you want to enter a denial, Mr. Brandt?
Yes, we'll enter denial on that as well, Your Honor.
BOP status will be July 23rd at 9 a.m., courtroom 4A.
Please tell me your name.
Yet White.
Can I have a moment with Ms. White, Your Honor? All right, thank you, Your Honor.
CO 727, you're here charged with prostitution. There is probable cause. Is there an offer?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, I'll stay your bond at $500. Do you work at Consulate Drive, Zone 44? Do you work on Consulate Drive?
No, ma'am. I work on OBT.
Did this happen on Consulate Drive?
Yes, Your Honor. And Zone 44 is the prostitution mapping zone where it occurred.
Oh. All right, so you can't return to the Quality Inn Hotel. You know where that is?
I wasn't at the Quality, but yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, just don't go back there.
Your Honor, state
Can't-
would also ask for no contact with the co-defendant, Mr. Sanchez.
Right, you can't have any contact with, what's his first name?
Pascal
Pascal,
Sanchez.
I have Morello. Where do you have Sanchez?
Under the co-defendant section on the front page, Your Honor.
It does say that, but in here it says Morello.
He might have a double last.
Either of those names, you can't have contact with him. Do you understand? You have to answer out loud?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good luck. Co-defendant, yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. CF 5912, I find his refusal a willing waiver of his appearance today. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. Another judge has already found probable cause. I'll stay the bond at $10,000. He's not allowed to possess or consume alcoholic beverages, illegal substances without a prescription, and he's not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition, or have contact with any known drug dealers. Please tell me your name.
Diomedes Cifuentes.
In 21 CF 6743, you're here charged with driving while license permanently revoked. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond is $5,000. You can't drive without a valid Florida license. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. In 21 CF 6751, you're here charged with trafficking in fentanyl, 4 grams or more, possession of fentanyl, possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cocaine, possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of methamphetamine, possession of MDMA, introduction of contraband into a detention facility, possession of cannabis under 20 grams, and resisting an officer without violence. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you in this case as well. There is probable cause. I'll stay your bonds as they appear in the probable cause affidavit. So it'll be $100,000 on count 1, $150,000 on counts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and $100,000 on 9 and 10. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not allowed to have any contact with the co-defendant, Diomedes Cifuentes Jr. Do you understand that?
That's me, ma'am.
Oh, I thought there was a co-defendant.
There is, Your Honor.
Oh. You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You can't have contact with any known drug dealers. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, our client would request a lower monetary bond on the count 2 or count 1 of the second case. I don't think it would be attainable for Mr. Cifuentes. I don't know if he listed employment. Not quite sure of his employment status, but he wanted to be heard on the amount, the bond amount on the trafficking in fentanyl.
There's something you want to say to me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on, raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You understand that anything you say right now is being recorded and can be used against you later.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what is it you want to say?
I currently take care of my father. He's 72 years old, and he doesn't know nobody's that is at the home with him right now. And I was trying to see if this $100,000 bond, if I can get it lowered a little bit, so maybe I can get there and take care of my father. I promise I won't go anywhere or anything.
What says the state?
Your Honor, he has a significant criminal history. I believe he was just released from DOC about a year ago. And he was also found with arguably a pharmacy of drugs. I believe the fentanyl was 4.2 grams. Generally, when defendants have fentanyl for personal use, it's 0.1 grams. As we know, the high-potency narcotic, fentanyl, is extremely dangerous. He had 4.2 grams, which is also very pricey. I understand the defendant's argument that he needs to take care of his father. However, I do believe the bond is reasonable given the amount of drugs he had, as well as the different types of drugs he had.
Sir, I'm looking at your criminal history. The state is right. You have at least 15 prior felony convictions, many of those for drugs. And based on the facts of this case, your 3 prior failures to appear.
Your Honor, I've been fighting this addiction.
Hold on, sir. Let me finish my statement. I'm not inclined to reduce that bond. However, your attorney can file a motion in front of the trial judge.
All right, thank you.
Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Donnie Matthews.
Francis Bundy, Your Honor.
Thank you. 19 CF 14189. A capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for a status hearing on a possession of cocaine charge. There's no bond authorized on this capias, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Good luck, sir. Thank you. Please tell me your name.
Deborah Rogers.
In 21 CT 4124, you're here charged with driving while license suspended. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There is probable cause. Your bond is $500, and you can't drive without a valid license. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
In 21 CF 6735, you're charged with possession of methamphetamine. There's also probable cause in this case. Again, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'll stay your bond at $1,000. You're not allowed to possess or consume a controlled substance without a valid prescription. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're also not allowed to have contact with any known drug dealers. And at this time, I'm revoking your out on bond case 21 CF 6625. Good luck, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
John Santos?
21 CF 6753, you're here charged with 8 counts of fraudulent possession, use or possession of an identification of another person without consent, fraudulent use. 1 count of knowing, intentionally, and unlawfully possessing 5 or more identification cards. 1 count of possession of a counterfeit credit card. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond will be $5,000 on count 1. I'm confused by the counts. Is it charged as 1 count or 8 counts? Do you know?
On 1, 8 counts, Your Honor. The officer referred to it on the second page that he was in possession of 8 pieces of personal information.
Right.
And then subsequently charged with 5 more of the personal identifiers.
But
So it was 8 counts for the first one, and then the second, he possessed 5 or more, which is its own
it's 1.
count, yes.
Right. I just want to make sure.
Dude,
So your bond is $5,000 on count 1, $150 on counts 2 through 8. $150.
Okay.
I mean, I could make it 5,000 on each count if you want, but I thought 150 would work. I'm treating those as subsidiaries because it's the same charge. And then on count 9, your bond is $1,000, and on count 10, $1,000. You're not allowed to have contact with any victim or witness in this case. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Are there any other conditions the state would request in this case?
No, Your Honor.
At this time, I'm revoking your out on bond case, 2019 CF 5234. So your attorney is going to have to file a motion in front of the trial judge. Good luck, sir.
Snow is in the hospital now.
21 CF 6712 and 6713. These are warrants, counselor. Do you want to waive his appearance or do you want to reset it? I'm appointing the public defender's office in both cases.
I don't know how long he's going to be in the hospital, so we'll waive the appearance now.
All right. Another judge has found probable cause in each case because it's a warrant. I'll stay his bonds at none in both cases, no contact with victim's family members, even while in custody.
He's entitled to a full Arthur hearing downtown, Your Honor.
He is.
Thank you.
Spencer, bonded. Sunday is also in the hospital.
21 CF 6710, battery on a law enforcement officer resisting with violence, burglary of a structure, and trespass. I'll appoint the public defender's office. Do you want to waive his appearance?
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor. I did have a question about his detainer, what case that would be.
Wait, I can't hear you.
He has a first appearance detainer, but it has no case numbers. I took a guess at which case he was being detained on, but could the clerk or pretrial services?
I assume it's the DUI. 20 CT 7503.
That's correct.
Okay.
I'll let you do the bond conditions on the current charges first before I make.
Yes, there is probable cause. I'll stay the bonds as listed in the probable cause affidavit. $1,000 on count 1 and count 2, $2,500 on count 3, and I'll make it $100 on count 4. He's not allowed to return. He's not allowed to have contact with any victim or witness. He's not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Brands, did you wish to be heard as to his out on bond case?
Yes, I would have you take no action. I was looking at that case, and this guy hand wrote a letter to the judge to get his case back on the docket because he had been medical, I guess, a couple months ago. That's a good faith effort to participate in the system and to comply with returning to court and getting there. I would have you take no action on that.
What says the state?
We are assuming that the first appearance detainer is the Brevard case or this Hernando case?
I'm assuming it's this DUI that doesn't tell me it's in Brevard or Hernando. I thought it was ours.
There's a Brevard DUI.
I had.
Is it an Orange County case?
It's an Orange County case.
So he has an orange DUI and then think of
Yes.
a subsequent DUI in Brevard?
I don't know about that.
It's charged as a subsequent second offense. Okay.
Oh, I see. Defendant has an open Brevard County case.
Yes, Your Honor. It appears he potentially has 3 open cases, Brevard, Hernando, and then arguably this Orange County DUI. So say we just ask that you revoke. By revoking it, you would get it back on the docket, which is the defendant's hope.
I'm going to revoke it at this time.
That was 20 CC 7503.
Yes.
Okay.
Please tell me your name. 21 CF 1293. You have a warrant out of Seminole County for fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. Your bond on that is $8,000. We'll notify them that you're here so they can come and get you. 21 CF 6714. You're here charged with possession of ammunition by a convicted felon and possession of cocaine. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case as well. Your bond will be $5,000 on count 1, $150 on count 2. You can't possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. You also can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Do you understand? At this time, I'm revoking your bond on 20 CF 3095.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
on that out on bond case, I have a motion from case 20 CF 3095. And then in that motion there, he was adjudicated incompetent to proceed in October 15, 2019, and 2 2014 cases.
Wait.
I know, I had to dig through a lot to get
Because
this.
it's a 2020 case. How could he have been found incompetent in 2019 on a 2020 case?
I think their argument is that because he was deemed incompetent in 2019, that they're trying to use it, that he's incompetent to proceed. in
Oh, there's a motion pending.
Yes.
There's no order.
So I'm relying on that incompetency determination in 2019 to make the argument that you take no action on his out on bond case, because if he's incompetent to proceed in that case, he's probably incompetent to proceed in these current charges. And revoking and setting it none wouldn't do the client any good, wouldn't do Mr. Tolbert any good.
Your Honor,
Other than just keep him here. If he's an incompetent defendant, he's got less rights than a competent defendant who could plea out.
Your Honor, I see defense's motion or suggestion to determine competency, and that was from June 18th of 2020. I don't see an order or anything on it. Given that there's not an order, say would ask that you revoke. He has a fleeing, he's out on bond for fleeing, and he has an out-of-county warrant also for fleeing, and then he's also in possession of a firearm. So they would just make the argument that these are violent and dangerous offenses.
All right, I'm going to revoke it at this time because there's not an order in that case.
Not in
Good
the,
luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Lonnie Tisdale.
A capias was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 210 for failing to appear for arraignment on a charge of petty theft with 2 prior convictions. At this time, there's no bond authorized on that capias, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. In 21 CF 6741, you're here charged with possession of MDMA, possession of cannabis under 20 grams, and providing false identification to a law enforcement officer. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you in this case as well. There is probable cause. Your bond is $1,000 on count 1, $100 on count 2, and $100 on count 3. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Do you understand? You're not allowed to have any contact with any known drug dealers. Good luck, sir.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, you made it
100
100 on the 2 subsequent? Okay,
Yes, I did.
thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Quan West.
21 CF 6755. You're here charged with trafficking in MDMA greater than 10 grams but less than 200 grams, and possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. What says the state has to bond on count 1?
Your Honor, count 1 is an F1 and has at least a 3-year minimum mandatory associated with that sentence or with that charge. Generally, due to the amount, the bond, I believe that follows the bond schedule, is $100,000, so state's asking for $100,000.
Does the defense wish to be heard?
Obviously, a reasonable bond is proper, Your Honor. If he's been employed part-time for a month, he's probably not going to be able to put up 10%, even 10% of a $100,000 bond. I would have you consider the unattainability of, especially in our client's, Mr. West's position, that very high bond.
Your bond on count 1 will be $100,000. Your bond on count 2 will be $150,000. You're not allowed to possess or consume a controlled substance without a valid prescription. You're not allowed to have any contact with Tidarius Williams. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition, or have contact with any known drug dealers. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Tidarius Williams.
You have a violation of probation out of Hillsborough County in 1718257. There's no bond authorized on that, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. We'll notify them that you're here so they can transport you. You have another violation of probation out of Hillsborough County in 1706909. Again, there's no bond. We'll notify them that you're here, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. As to 21 CF 6739, you're here charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, and possession of cannabis under 20 grams. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond will be $5,000 on count 1, $150 on count 2, and $100 on count 3. You can't possess a firearm, ammunition, or a weapon of any kind. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't have any contact with Shaquan West. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You also can't possess or consume a controlled substance without a valid prescription or have contact with any known drug dealers.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Gabriel Wilson.
(21 CF 6734). You're here charged with possession of MDMA. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond is $1,000. You can't possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't have contact with any known drug dealers.
Okay.
Mr. Brantz, I'm inclined to revoke his bond on his out-on-bond case unless you can give me a reason not to.
I understand, Your Honor. He's been working with the system to, he had a capias quashed recently on 5/21, as it's been reset for a pretrial conference on June 14th. I'm sure while on bond, Mr. Wilson will be appearing at that pretrial conference. He'll be calling our office to make sure and confirm all of that and working with his attorney. It's also, it's not a drug-related case, so it's a theft case. It's also nonviolent. So, and he has been working to address those issues in that out on bond case. So I would have you take no action on that. And if you are considering revoking, I would just have you set a higher bond.
I'm going to take no action on that case. Good luck, sir.
Still have my bond?
You do. I'm not going to revoke it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Good luck. Don't miss your court date, though.
I won't. Thank you.
Okay. Please tell me your name.
Katina McClinton.
You have to leave your mask on. You have a warrant out of Bay County in 22290. Looks like the charge is grand theft of $10,000 or more. I don't have the actual warrant. I just have the teletype notes that say bond to be set at IA. Do you guys see that too?
Let me try to bring that up in the entire case.
I am loath to set bond on a warrant from another county. Does anybody have the warrant?
I'm checking the Bay County Clerk of Court right now, Your Honor. See if I can come up with anything.
Yeah, I see that. On the
On the warrant or the teletype?
The teletype.
Because I want to read the actual warrant before I set bond.
I can't find it on the Bay County Clerk site due to limited access.
Wow.
And I don't know the full case number. I just know that 22290.
How do I know the teletype is right?
Your Honor, given that this is an out-of-county warrant, most come in at zero bond. State
Yeah.
asked that you hold it at zero bond so she can be taken over to Bay County and they can address it.
It says, please place hold as we will pick up.
It seems like that is the intention, Your Honor, if they intend to come get her.
Your Honor, I don't know if you can order no bond without the warrant that says no bond.
We do it all the time, Counselor, using the teletype.
I understand, but even you have suggested maybe teletype is wrong, so I wouldn't, because that order carries around with her, and she's stuck here. So,
I'm not going to grant bond, but Mr. Brands, if you can make a note for your office, if you guys can get the warrant and the warrant says that I can give her bond, we'll call her back and I'll give her a bond.
call her back tomorrow.
Or whenever you get it. I mean, I don't want to bring her back tomorrow if you don't have the warrant. But if you guys can track down the warrant, we can have her reset and I'll grant her a bond. Unless they come get her before we do that.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, I might see you again in the next couple of days, but otherwise Bay County will come and get you.
You know how long that would be?
I don't. Good luck. We usually only have the teletype, but usually the teletype is really clear. I felt like that one was two conflicting statements, and that's concerning.
I appreciate you your concern.
Sir, please tell me your name.
Tyreek Nichols.
All right, you have a case out of Flagler County, 20 CT 994, failure to appear on a,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. You have do you need to ask a question?
What?
You understand that anything you say is on the record and can be used against you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's your question?
I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like
I can't hear you. Get close to the microphone.
I didn't want to say the wrong thing. That's why I was trying.
He just had a quick question, Your Honor. I think we've resolved it.
All right. So, Mr. Nichols, this is a warrant out of Flagler County for your arrest on a charge of failing to appear when you were charged with operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. The bond authorized is $2,000. If you don't post that bond, they'll come and get you. But if you post the bond, you can get out here. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you have any questions for me?
I was wondering about the bonds.
Just get close to the mic.
I was wondering about the bonds that I have revoked.
The bond what?
The bonds that I had revoked.
Oh, and if you have bond revoked, then you won't be able to be released. So even if you post this bond, you're not getting out. And I can't address those today.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you understand? Okay, good luck, sir. What's that? Is that another case? Okay. Are there any other people?
I do have one question. I believe they potentially may have bonded. Do you mind checking an inmate number? 21013536, Mr. Jonathas?
Any
Yes.
bonded?
Okay, thank you.
We do have one case, Mr. Brands.
Yes, Kenneth Martin, I think.
Yes. 21 CF 12380. He was here yesterday. You were not here. But I do remember him. Apparently, he can't qualify for mental health pretrial release or pretrial release. So we need to set bond for him. Do you want to have him brought to the courtroom to do that? Or do you want to just waive his appearance and I'll set his bond?
What's the reason for his absence?
We addressed his case yesterday.
Oh, I see.
But we just got an email from pretrial release saying he doesn't qualify for either. So I have to give him, I'm not going to hold him at no bond. I'm going to give him a monetary bond.
We'll waive the appearance then, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'll enter a new order. So he's charged with attempted burglary of a structure and criminal mischief. I'm going to stay the bonds. It's $1,000 on count 1 and $100 on count 2, and all the same conditions will apply. I'm just going to give him monetary bond.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else before court is adjourned for the day?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, everyone.